What is up, guys? How is it going? We are back, baby. Nice little different format today. We got some familiar faces on here. We got the Swift man, and we got Hunter man. You already know we got to bring Hunter's coming back. I'm pretty sure every Dolphins W he's gonna come back and talk his shit. It has to be done. And I'm not
That
a
means I'll be
Dolphins
here every
supporter.
week.
Oh, oh shit. Okay. I'm not a Dolphins supporter, but look, I'm not gonna lie. Before we get started, my quick story. My dad, who is a Ravens fan, we were swapping back and forth between the games, and he was like, "I'm not gonna lie, this is the first year I like the Dolphins." I'm like, I like their coach, man. The coach got swag. With that being said, man, I'm not gonna do this Dolphins game justice. So, Hunter, how about you? You were actually there, so how about you just take it away, man?
Yeah. So, Dolphins Bills ended up being 21-19. Dolphins W. I was in attendance with Swift, and let me tell you, what a game. Uh, it started off, pretty. It started off, I think, how everyone expected. Josh Allen driving down the field, no one can stop him, scoring a touchdown. That's what we expected, right?
And then
Dolphins
I
came
showed up.
out, yeah, and then Swift showed up. He did come late. He missed the first drive and a half. Dolphins came out and they looked pretty stale. I mean, there were so many Bills fans in the stadium. It was crazy. Um, we punted and then we got defensive play of the game. Uh, you know, pinned them at their own 1 yard line. Ended up getting a strip sack onto Josh Allen, recovering it and scoring the touchdown, which brought the score to 7-7. And let me tell you, from there, it was just a movie. Tua going down, my heart dropped. It was just before halftime, so I had decided to go get a refill on my drink. And so I'm sitting there watching the TV and I'm looking at Tua and he's stumbling and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And, uh, you know, there's a bunch of Bills fans in the line around me and they're like cheering. I'm like, oh my God, these people have no class, no
No
shame, no
class,
class, no shame,
no
no class.
class.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
I will say that if you're wishing an injury upon somebody, like be better,
Don't do that.
be
Be
Don't
better.
do
better,
that.
be better. But yeah, no, Tua came back out after halftime, and let me tell you, the stadium was electric. Uh, I think biggest play of the game, biggest offensive play of the game is definitely Tua, 3rd and 22, 50-yard bomb hitting Waddle in
Waddle.
stride right at the 5-yard line. Beautiful pass, beautiful catch, beautiful route by Waddle. I mean, it was just a beautiful play all around. And let me tell you, if that's last year, Brian Flores is calling like a halfback draw right up the middle, trying to just mitigate some damage. But Mike McDaniel put his nuts on the table. He said, "We're ripping this bitch down the field, taking the top off," and scored a touchdown on that drive. That's the touchdown that ultimately ended up winning the game. We all know what happened next. Infamous, will go down in history. The butt punt. No one will ever forget that. He got hit right in his asshole. It was crazy. And then the Dolphins defense was the story of the game. I think they made us. They ended up getting a stop. And just look at the stats. We have Josh Allen throwing the ball 63 times for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. He only had 1 turnover, the fumble, but he did fumble the ball a couple times, and he did throw a couple of really bad throws that almost got picked off. Especially on that last drive, there were 3 throws that were
We're
just
iffy.
dropped. Yeah, no, they were dropped by the
Yeah.
by the Dolphins defenders. They hit him right in the hands. There should have been 3 interceptions. What's it called? Yeah, so I mean, I think the Bills had 90 offensive plays to the Dolphins 39. I mean, I'm a possession 40 minutes to 20 minutes. It was a defensive work of art by the
It was.
Dolphins. The Bills in the first 2 games looked unstoppable. No one could stop them, and the Dolphins went in there and they punched them in the mouth. Tua, obviously the stats don't jump out at you, but big
He only
time
threw
players
18 times.
make big time plays. Tua in his last 10 starts is 9-1. He's a winner. I don't care what you say. He's got a noodle arm. We've proved that wrong. Uh, you know, he don't got that dog in him. We proved that wrong. Obviously, come on. I mean, no matter what you want to say about Tua, he's a winner. He's, I think, like 15-9 in his career as an NFL starter, 9-1 in his last 10 games. Just beat the heavy Super Bowl favorites in the Buffalo Bills to take sole possession of the lead in the AFC East and the AFC. And they looked like a top 2 team in the NFL right there with the Philadelphia Eagles. Great game overall. I give it 9 out of 10.
Hey,
Well, not at a 10 out of 10 because it didn't hit the over.
no, I didn't hit the over.
Didn't
Great
hit the
game,
over.
like you said, man. I was from a non-biased perspective. I was kind of flipping back and forth between the Ravens game and this game, and I want to just say, this isn't about the game. I mean, it is, but it's not really. So, like, first of all, it's legal. I'm not going to shame the Dolphins for doing it, but the way that they built that stadium, where they get the entire shade. If anybody's been down here in Miami, bro, 100 degrees in the shade is different than 100 degrees in the sun. Like, these Bills players were literally dying on the field. Again, I don't hate. Hey, man, the NFL lets you do it. You got to do it.
I don't hear you saying
I'm pro
anything about the
dome.
Seahawks. They got the same shit. They got the same thing.
You know what's the difference, man? The Seahawks can't beat. The Seahawks lose to themselves. The only team they beat was Denver, and that's because
Listen,
it
it's called
is what it is.
home field advantage for a reason.
I fully agree. I just think every building should be domed, retractable roof, whatever. It's chilling, but I think that because some of the games, like, I'm sorry, but watching Stephon Diggs come out of the game every other play was not entertaining. You don't want to see Jake Kumaro and Jamison Crowder out there. I'm sorry. I want to see Stephon Diggs for Xavier Howard. You feel me?
I mean, the way I look at it is, if people are going to complain about that, then I think the Dolphins fans are just going to complain about the fact that Buffalo doesn't have any heaters on the sideline in the winter. I would say that's worse.
But I'm in agree. I'm not saying this is just a Dolphins thing. I agree with you. I think domes should be required.
I think that takes away home field advantage. Home field advantage isn't just the fans in the stands. It's you're in your home field. Miami practices in the 100-degree heat outside. Buffalo practices in the nice weather they got up north. I mean, like, but they're used to the cold. If Miami goes up in the cold, they're not used to that. That's not what the Dolphins are used to, and they're probably going to get punched in the mouth if they have to play in below freezing weather. But when it comes to it being 100 degrees and 100% humidity outside, that's the Dolphins. That's their bread and butter. And if people are going to fault them for being the best conditioned team in the league, then whatever. I mean.
Hey, let us know. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about this home field advantage situation. We're kind of split in between Hunter and Lewis, so we love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, absolutely. Jump into the next game here, man. I got to talk about my Ravens. I got to talk about the Ravens, man, because another Lamar MVP performance. Fun little stat for you guys. He has more touchdowns accounted for than every single NFL team except for the Detroit Lions. This one man has more touchdowns than every team, the same amount or more touchdowns than every single NFL team except for the Detroit Lions. They have one more. He's accounted for 12 touchdowns through 3 games. If hey, Eric DaCosta, I don't know if you're listening, bro, pay this man, please. I beg you, pay this man whatever he wants. Give him the fully guaranteed. I don't give a shit, man. I need to see this man in a Ravens uniform until his last. I got another jersey, man. I had one. I got another one.
He needs the Patrick Mahomes treatment. 10 years, $500 million.
Give him a house. Give him the keys to the stadium. Do like PSG did Mbappe. Do that to Lamar, please. But just to stick with the game here, bro. I mean, obviously you guys see 4 tutties. The pick he threw, he was targeting Bateman. It was early in the game. 218 yards is not impressive, but we really didn't throw the ball a lot, and it was just a lot of Andrews, man. Andrews was cooking. Duvernay, I know he only had 2 for 25 and a tud, but my God, Evan Duvernay is Himothy. Best punt returner in the league. I think that's been proven. He's been punt returner, two-time pro all-pro returner. He's the league in kick return and punt return yards.
The rookie in Dallas.
He's pretty clean.
He is disgusting.
Best punter in the AFC. I'll do that. He'll stick with that. Almost busted out like a 90-yard return touchdown, just crazy, and then finished off the drive with a tutty. Some things I wanted to get to is Justice Hill is looking very, very nice. He's always been fast, but I think he just looks better because we don't have anybody doing anything. J.K. Dobbins came back, looked pretty decent. Obviously, they eased him back very slowly. Somebody you should definitely be keeping an eye on. I think we play the Bills this week, so don't start him. But next week after Buffalo, I think you should look at that. And the Patriots just looked pretty decent on offense. Our defense, we got 3 picks. Mondre looks great. I think I'm sorry. What do you guys think? Damian Harris and Ramondre, like, who do you think is better? Because I think, for me personally, I think Ramondre is significantly better than Damian Harris. I wouldn't say miles better, but I think he's clearly the better runner and just pass catcher. I think he's just a better player.
I mean, it's hard to go off this game. If you go back to the stats from last game, Damian Harris is
No,
clearly
I'm
the better
talking about
runner
the
in
eye
that game.
test. Yeah, I'm talking about just the eye test. Watching them both run. Ramondre runs through people. He looks better, has better vision, hits the hole harder, better hands. I don't know, man. I just personally interesting to give this man the key. And Mac Jones got hurt, man. Unfortunately, like we said, we don't wish injury upon anybody. I hate seeing people get hurt. The Ravens were down to their 5th left tackle. Lamar was still doing Lamar things. 100 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns, 1 on the ground. Just marvelous, man. That's all it is, man. All the time. We play Buffalo, so we're gonna do something for y'all, man. We're gonna go. I think we play Buffalo in Buffalo. Oh, actually, no, we play them in MTNT. We're gonna try to help you guys out so you guys can take this division a little easier this year.
Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo's. I'm taking Buffalo. Sorry.
I'm taking the Bengals, but that's aside from the fact.
I think.
Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah. Before I go to the next game, I'm just gonna say that you guys have not had a real test yet. This will be your first real test. The Jets and the Patriots, and who else?
The Dolphins.
Oh, but you lost, so it doesn't really count.
38 points.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens this week. Moving on to the next game, we got the Eagles beating the Commanders 24-8. It wasn't even really a contest, and why I'm talking about this game is one reason, and it's because it wasn't last week, but the week before, Lewis had some things to say about Devonta Smith, and he didn't believe. I said it myself. I said that he is too talented to be putting up those numbers that he did in week 1, which was nothing. And for back-to-back weeks, he's been a top 15 receiver. So
just being generous.
So Lewis, what's going on with Devonta?
Look, man, I'll be honest. It wasn't even more of a Devontae thing. It was just an offense thing. I was wrong about the offense in general. I love the offense. I didn't think they can support 2 receivers, but the way Jalen Hurts is playing, he's supporting everything. And it's been a common theme. They're not doing anything in the second half because they've been in control of every game they've been in. I'm pretty sure if this game was, if they were to play somebody and it was supposed to be a close game, Devontae could go for more and so can AJ. This team looks incredible. They sacked Carson Wentz 9 times. That's almost more times than Justin Fields dropped back to throw the ball. This is incredible.
Poor Carson Wentz.
It wasn't a welcome home for sure.
Hunter, what do you think about Carson Wentz had actually a great first 2 weeks. What do you think about this performance? Is it the O-line's fault? What happened?
I don't know. It's hard to blame everything on one specific group or one specific person. I mean, I think Carson Wentz is a talented quarterback. I think he's limited, and I think he knows his limits. But I mean, just the Eagles look crazy. They look really, really, really good. Eagles Dolphins Super Bowl. You heard it here first. Ravens won't even make the playoffs, and we're gonna move on.
You want to do a water bet on that?
I don't know what that is.
We could bet. Yeah, we could bet the Ravens to make the playoffs. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
The next game is the Packers beating the Buccaneers 14-12, and let me tell you, if Brady did not get that last second touchdown, everything that I said about this team this week would have smashed, because Brady was the QB 25 right before he threw that touchdown. Fournette is the the RB 22, I believe, or the 20, and I said he would be the RB 18. Smashed. I told you to not play the Buccaneers this week, and if you listen to me, I'd expect a thank you.
Yeah, we'd be chilling.
Russell Gage 12 for 87 and a tutter though.
Are you picking him up in any league?
No, Mike Evans is coming back.
I fully agree. That man, the one game wonder. There, you got it from him.
Hey, you talked bad about Russell Gage too. I said he was a decent receiver.
Who, me or Hunter?
Yeah, it was you.
You Lewis? I don't even know.
I said, what about Russell Gage?
I, I mentioned Russell Gage and Brashad Perriman as being decent receivers, and you said,
no.
and
I said no to Brashad Perriman. I said
I mentioned both of them in that sentence, so I assumed it was to both of them.
No, it was for Brashad Perriman. I've seen him drop plenty of passes before. But yeah, this was I watched the entirety of this game and my eyes were bleeding. These offenses suck, bro. They had no receivers. Like, yeah, Gage had 12 catches. I don't think he got one for more than like 14, 13, 15 yards. He sucked, bro. Like, not sucked. Like, he got open, but like the lack of explosiveness in this offenses were the most explosive player on the field, I shit you not, was 37-year-old Randall Cobb. He caught one like slant route, made like 4 people miss, got like 30-some, 40-some yards. 40 yards, whatever. Boring ass game.
Yeah. The only reason we're talking about this game is just because, this is week 3 in a row that Brady is not doing it. And
I think he's quarterback 25 on the year, 27 on the year. Sucks.
Yeah. He's slowly like just falling off that cliff. It's like a snowball effect. It's just, the ball's just gonna get bigger every week. You'll see.
Amen. Talking about a snowball effect, this game right here was icy, man. It was a great game. It was things were going good. I had actually bet on the Lions to upset, but the only thing they upsetted was me. I got very upset watching this fucking game.
Should have took the spread.
Yeah, but I'd be doing like $1 money line bets throughout the entire week just to see how I do and started 2-7. And
I know. I commented.
Went 7 in a row. My parlay missed. I had a 6-pick parlay that break because of the Giants. So I only put $1, but it was to pay out like 34. Anyways, DeAndre Swift is hurt. Apparently it's serious. I think he's gonna be out through the bye week. Hopefully he's fine, bro, because he is looking very, very good. Very, very explosive, per usual. Alvin Cook also got hurt. This game was the running backs ended up not finishing the game for both teams. Alvin finally got a tutty, man. The man finally got a tutty. Things were going right, and then his shoulder decided to dislocate. I did tell you, Joseph, Amon-Ra was outside of the top 25 this week. And he was. I'm glad your bet hit. I'm pretty sure it was 72.5 yards, and he got 73. He did you right.
Yeah, it was 70.5. Yeah.
All right. He got you right at least. But yeah, it's just I don't know. This was a interesting game. A lot of points were being put up. KJ Osborne outscored Justin Jefferson significantly. Another snooze fest from Jay Chettis. What's your concern level, guys? 1 through 10 on Justin Jefferson.
0.
Okay. Dude, I mean,
he was triple covered the whole game.
But is he going to keep seeing that?
They lost. The Lions lost. Teams are going to look at it and they go, okay, wait, they triple covered Justin Jefferson, but they lost.
Yeah.
It's not. If it worked, if like the Vikings got blown out, then probably. But I mean, the Lions triple covered him and they lost. So obviously it didn't work. Justin Jefferson is too talented. I think that his limits are that he is too talented and teams do want to target him, and Kirk Cousins is not good at the quarterback position.
I mean, yeah, I fully agree. Before we get into the last game here, we're going to talk about. I also want to state that my saucy take of the week, Mr. C-Pat, he did your boy right, man. I said top 10. I think he finished top 5.
Yeah, I'm actually in the same boat as you. Damian Pierce, I said top 12. He was RB8, and DK Metcalf, I said 15. He was 17. So I'm gonna take a 4 solid dubs last week for the saucy takes.
Technical difficulties.
There we go.
How are we looking, Lewis?
No, it's all right. Y'all go ahead into the last game, and don't you worry. I'm getting this fixed.
All right, last game, Monday night game, we had Cowboys Giants in New York, or should I say New Jersey. A couple of takeaways here. Cooper Rush is him. Cooperman, he looked great, honestly. He looked really, really good. He should have another 60 yards tacked onto his total and a tutter. CeeDee Lamb dropped a wide open, in his hands touchdown. So this game probably shouldn't have been as close as it was. But I mean, I think another talking point here is what is going on in that backfield. Tony Pollard, 13 carries for 105 yards, 8.1 average. That is insane.
Yeah, this is a very similar situation to Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, in my opinion. This is a split backfield. Pollard had one target and Zeke had one target as well. So they pretty much had the same touches. If I have any of these guys, I think Zeke is touchdown dependent, and I think Tony Pollard is a solid RB2 in my or like maybe a
flex play.
Yeah, maybe a flex play. Yeah. Because like the efficiency that he's putting up is able, like if he gets a touchdown, he's an RB2. You know.
Yeah, I mean, Austin Eckler. What's it called? It's most touchdown dependent. We can just look at that as a case study. Another takeaway here is CeeDee Lamb had 12 targets, 8 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. And let me tell you, that touchdown catch was crazy. You would look at that and you'd be like, oh, that's the catch of the week, but it wasn't, because George Pickens on Thursday Night Football had what I would say is probably the second best catch of all time. People could argue the best.
Yeah, that
is insane.
That CeeDee Lamb touchdown actually won me 2 leagues simultaneously. Shout out Solid, GG's. I ended up beating him by 0.52.
Oof.
So
bad beat.
Yeah.
Bad beat. On the other side of the ball here, we got Saquon Barkley, who, looks like the best running back in football.
He got that dog in him, man. He's back, bro.
He got that dog in him. 14 carries for 81 yards, 5.8 average. He had a tutter. He also got some decent receiving work, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 45 yards. I mean, he looked great. That offense I think, if that offense is, in my opinion, that offense is one wide receiver away from being a really, really good offense. Because right now teams can just kind of home in on Saquon Barkley and just shut him down. I mean, he's too talented to be shut down, but they can limit him. But if you get a real like deep threat or a real good wide receiver on that team, like somebody, I don't know, Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, chill.
I mean, he wants to come out of retirement. I mean, like, Odell Beckham Jr. looked great last year. They just lost Sterling Shepard. Terrible injury. I mean, please, can we just start playing games on grass? So, we got a bunch of it. I don't know why we're playing on turf. Kenny Golladay is looking like the worst contract in NFL history. $80 million to do nothing, literally nothing. He has a dream job. But there are no other receivers on that team. Their best wide receiver, Sterling Shepard, is out for the year. So they're going to be looking towards Richie James and David Sills, people that no one's ever heard of until, now. There are plenty of receivers out there in free agency that they can grab. I think that the number one on the list is Odell Beckham Jr. I think OBJ would love to probably come back to New York, but yeah, overall it was a pretty good game. It did come down to the last drive. Danny Dimes did do what Danny Dimes does. He threw a pick.
Threw a dime to the other team.
Threw a dime right to the other team, but overall, I think it was a pretty good game. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Dak comes back, because Cooper Rush looks good. He looks really, really good.
I will say that the first half of that game was a snooze fest, and I'm very thankful I did not waste any time watching it. I ended up tuning in the third quarter, right when they started scoring, but I wouldn't say it was a great game. I would say it was decent.
It was decent. You know what's crazy? When you were just talking about, the Giants need that receiver. Like, they have it. Like, he's just not healthy. I feel like if Tony's there, this offense is different. I
don't know.
Tony and Wan'Dale. I mean, this is the regime picked Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't know when he's going to be back, but I imagine it's not going to be too far away. I think Saquon, obviously, I'll be honest, I think Saquon looks like the best running back in the league. Is that too much of a stretch to say?
I mean, I think Nick Chubb looks great. I mean,
yeah, him and Nick Chubb are.
I think if Kareem Hunt isn't on that team, I mean, Nick Chubb might rush for 200 yards a game. It's crazy.
I don't know. I think James Robinson is in that conversation.
All right, moving on.
Some J-Rob, but from a talent perspective,
man,
it's not the same. It's not the same, man.
I just gagged a little bit. James Robinson is a good running back. Oh, yeah, that's another talking point. Well, that'll be a nice segue into our next segment, which we are going to be talking about our fantasy league When we talking about matchups, or when we talking about players, buy low, sell high. Who do you want to hold? Who do you want to keep your eye on? Who you looking at? Waiver wire picks, all that jazz. But I think that the most important thing to look at right now is the top 10 running backs so far in the NFL or in fantasy football. How do I pull this up here on?
Just know that they're very bad as he pulls that up. Like, I think there's
Yes.
only 2 that were taken in the first 3 round, and it's Saquon and Chubb. I think
Yes.
everybody
So
else is.
here we
Yeah, go
go.
ahead.
The top 10 running backs fantasy wise, full PPR. We have Saquon Barkley, and then we have Nick Chubb. No surprises there. I think people wouldn't be surprised to see that. Surprises start here. James Robinson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift. We had a rough stretch there. James Robinson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then we got DeAndre Swift, who looks great. Cordell Patterson, who I think a lot of people thought was going to have a huge regression this season, and he is shutting them right up. And we got Aaron Jones, and then we really get into the meat of it. Jamal Williams and Khalil Herbert are above Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler, who I think everyone looked at as the consensus top 3 picks in fantasy. In standard 1 QB, 2 flex, full PPR formats. I think that those were the top 3 guys in terms of ADP. And we have guys like Jamal Williams and Khalil Herbert above them. But it doesn't stop there. I think the biggest shocker is if we scroll down here, all the way down, we got to keep going. We're scrolling through players who are still on waivers. We scroll down here. There he is. I think he is number 54, Alvin Kamara.
Oof, my take's looking
He
bad.
has been outscored this season by Darrell Williams, Mark Ingram, Zach Moss, Xander Horvath. I've never even heard of that guy.
Nobody has.
Alexander Madison, J.D. McKissick, Jerick McKinnon, Rex Burkhead, Eno Benjamin, Samaje Perine, Dontrell Hillard. What else we got here? Ramondre Stevenson, Jeff Wilson. Well, I mean, we could kind of let that pass because Elijah Mitchell is injured. But still,
it's a bunch of nobodies, essentially.
I mean, and we still got the 2 guys in the top 10.
Yep.
Jamal Williams and Khalil Herbert. I mean, what bust of the year? Biggest bust of the year?
I think it's too soon to say, and there's also somebody at the receiver position in that same division who's been pretty shitty, which has been DJ Moore, which I think will segue us perfectly into players that I am personally buying low on. The man manning all these screens for you guys right here. He's a proud holder. I wouldn't say proud anymore, but he's a holder of Sir DJ Moore, and I want some more and more. I have him in the league. I'm not trading him. Ironically enough, we had a trade go down. I got Chris Olave last week for 50 fab. Swift, man, how do you feel about giving me Olave for 50 fab?
For the record, I didn't want to do that trade. I told Lewis that I was dropping him, and he's like, wait. I'll buy him from you. Let me give you some fab. And I'm like, okay. Like, I wasn't going to get anything for dropping him, so might as well get something out of it. Of course he pops off, but hey, man.
It's how life works sometimes.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but definitely
Lewis, your mic cut off. But yeah, so Hunter, you want to talk about some trade targets or buy lows, sell highs?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I have my eyes on a couple guys here. Al Pitts, I think, is number 1 on that list. He's too talented, and just the way that he's looked these first 3 weeks, I think he's a perfect buy low candidate. Another guy who people should be trying to buy, who I have in 2 leagues, is Breece Hall. He looks great. He looks really, really great. Through his in his first 3 weeks, he has 10 points, 13 points, and 15 points, only improving. But I think that the big thing to look at here is in week 1 he had 9 targets, and then in week 3 he had 11. That is wild for a running back. Wild for a running back. I think that he ends up taking over this backfield somewhere around week 6, week 7. And he could be a consistent 17 to 20 point per game scorer, through the end of the season. So in your leagues, I would be looking to buy low on Breece Hall, buy low on Kyle Pitts for sure. I'm not hopping on that DJ Moore train. I think that team is a train wreck. If you ask me, that is the worst team in the NFL. I think another guy that you can look at is a huge name in Devontae Adams. He had that monster week one, and then has fallen off the face of the earth. So week one, what did he have? 30 points, 17 targets. That is crazy. 10 receptions for 141 yards and a tutter. And then he had 9 points week 2, 7 targets, 2 receptions, 12 yards and a touchdown. And then week 3, he had 14 points, 10 targets, 5 receptions, and 1 touchdown. And I think that what's jumping out at me here is his snap percentage. He played 100% of snaps against Tennessee in week 3. He is too talented to be putting up, these numbers like he did in week 2 and week 3. And so, if you have someone in your league who is desperate, and they need to start winning games ASAP and they have Devontae Adams on their roster, go start sending trade offers for him because he will win you your fantasy league. Unfortunately, in our league, the person who owns him is Lewis. And Lewis
not on the market.
Lewis is the worst person in the world to trade with.
Nope.
So
solid exists.
No, Lewis still exists. So yeah, he's not available in our league, but if he's available in yours, definitely go get him. And then, what do you guys think about some sell high guys? Who you guys looking at? And you're saying I need to get this guy off my roster, and get as much as I can for him because I think he's about to start. Clyde, 100% agree.
Clyde.
Huge. Let's expand on that.
22 carries in 3 weeks. 22. His passing down work isn't even. He's providing some kind of value there, but personally, his snap percentage has been low. Even in the first 2 games, they were blowing people out. So in the 4th, he started, not seeing as many snaps. But this game, when they were down, I think Jerick McKinnon led the team in snaps.
Am I reading this right? He had 7 attempts for 0 yards.
0 yards.
Yes.
0 yards. Correct.
And a touchdown.
He had 5 for -1, and then he got a 1-yard touchdown, and then he got stopped again. What his value came from that touchdown and those 5 catches.
That's an all-time stat line, by the way.
Actually,
this is definitely.
You still dropped 15 points.
Yeah, I know if you had him and you're starting him, you're proud, but I mean, you should be proud to trade him. I think package him and something and try to get an upgrade at running back. Honestly, I would trade him straight up for I'll trade him straight up for a lot of running backs that are kind of.
C-Pat.
If you could get Kamara and trade Clyde, please.
Not 1 for 1. I think a good 1 for 1 trade is Clyde for Cordell Patterson. If you can do that, I think you look.
What about James Robinson straight up?
James Robinson.
Are you selling high on James Robinson?
No, I believe.
You're a believer.
Yeah, and this is coming from someone who talked down on him preseason.
Disrespectful.
Achilles injury. No, you know what's disrespectful? Let me show you guys this really quick. Week 3. And I know I lost and I'm 0-3. But I just want to go to the online league really quick and show you guys this. Gator. This is what I find disrespectful. Played Jeff Wilson against the best run defense in the league over James Robinson, and he lost by
Deserved.
6 points. Exactly. Well deserved. So
if you get that many running backs on his roster.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But
it's because in the previous league he had Cam Akers as his first running back, I think, after Lenny. So he was like, "I got it. I'm not doing the same mistake."
There you go.
He just started hauling him. How are you feeling about just in general, like at the receiver position this year? There's obviously been a lot of surprises. I think Noah Brown's receiver 25, if I am not mistaken. But like just going through some of these names, are you guys interested in anybody? How much waiver fab are you going to spend on certain players? Like if Jamal Williams is out there in any leagues, I don't think he's out there in any of our leagues, but if Jamal Williams is out there, knowing that Swift is going to miss some time and stuff like that, how much fab are you spending?
251.
So about 25% of the fab.
25% of the fab. He's only going to be the starter for about 4. He's not going to steal that starting job from Swift. The reason that he's so high up is because he is a touchdown vulture. He's looking like James Conner last year. Yeah, I mean, he is a very talented running back. To think that at one time the Packers had Jamal Williams, A.J. Dillon, and Aaron Jones on their roster is crazy. But yeah, no, he's great. He's great in goal line situations. He's a great leader. And he's just a really, really great running back. I think he might be a little bit touchdown dependent. He doesn't really have a lot of receiving upside. But yeah, majority. I mean, he's got 4. I think he has the most touchdowns or the second most touchdowns in for running backs this year.
Yeah. What's crazy to me about him is he actually used to be the receiver or the receiving option back in Green Bay, and now with Swift there, he's kind of resorted to being the goal line back. I think I'm more like spend 30, 35, 40% on him because you're going to get a guaranteed RB1 until Swift returns. And when Swift returns, personally, I feel more confident playing a guy like Jamal Williams than, or not maybe not
So
more
would you-
confident, but just
Would
about
you
the same.
would you
Yeah, go
trade
ahead.
Clyde for Jamal Williams?
No,
Mm,
you could get more for Clyde.
I think you can get more for Clyde, but in theory, I probably wouldn't, but I'd be looking and
You're talking 35% of your fab. That's a lot.
yeah, I'd give up more for Clyde. He's a RB1, you know, regardless of how he's looked, he's RB1 over there in Kansas City.
Yeah.
You know, the Lions have scored the most touchdowns in the league. I think that's going to regress eventually, especially with Amon-Ra being kind of nicked up. Just in general, but definitely spend fab on Jamal Williams if he's out there. What about Khalil? Got to talk about Khalil Herbert. He's running. They're basically 8 and 9. Are you spending fab on him? I think he looks better than David Montgomery. I don't know why they don't use both of them more. There should be a committee, in my opinion.
Did you watch that
who's-
Packers Monday night game or Sunday night game?
The Packers, which one?
Packers Bears last week.
Last week, I saw some of it.
David
He
Montgomery
looked good too.
looked
Montgomery cooked,
great.
yeah.
He looked great.
8 yards a carry.
He played 80% of snaps, 15 attempts for 122 yards, 8 yards a carry. I mean, it's just really unfortunate what ended up happening to him, that injury. I think that he explodes for that same stat line if he stays healthy that game.
Yeah, I agree. And we're seeing what Herbert does with the same amount of carries. They're the same player, just save them a little bit. You know, I mean, in terms of fantasy, I guess not, but the Montgomery went crazy, but Herbert had 4 for like 38 or something. He played good too. Like the Packers could not stop the run. And it was what it was, but they're definitely both they're both very talented. I'll say this, if you're in the Dynasty League, I'm leaning Herbert over Demont. I know Demont looks better now, but I think I don't know, just less tread on the tires. I do like Herbert a lot, and he was actually a receiving option when he was in college. Kind of reminds me of Aaron Jones a little bit with the way he plays. But ironically, I think he's like two spots under Aaron Jones this year, just in general. What are you guys doing for Matt Collins, man? Swift, man. Talk to me about Matt Collins. He went nuclear this week. Talk about receiver 1. Devontae Adams looked like receiver 2 next to that man this week. And this was obviously no Hunter Renfrow. But even last week with Hunter Renfrow, I think he had 8 targets.
You're on running backs.
Yeah, there you go. There he is, man. Are you spending fab on Matt Collins? If so, how much? Because I am in a predicament in one of my leagues. My receivers are dog water. They're all injured. I have 3 injuries at receiver. I'm basically starting Jahan Dotson or Jarvis Landry or Tyler Boyd, and I hate all 3 of them. Should I be throwing fab at him?
I'm throwing like 5% of my fab at him.
So I should throw like $50 at this. I'm not getting him for $50. These people spent $900 on, I think it was Curtis Samuel.
I mean, you got to look at what that team looks like, and that team looks like, when healthy, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and then Matt Collins. He's the 4th option. Derek Carr is not that good. I have him in 2 leagues, so I can say this. He is not that good. This is an anomaly. It happens every year. You get 1 or 2 or 3 guys that pop off for a crazy amount, and they're sitting on the waiver wires. And I think if you spend a lot of your fab on this guy, it's going to be a waste. For me, I'm more looking at guys like Romeo Dubois. I don't know how to say his name.
Romeo Dubs.
he is available on some waiver wires for sure. He looked great. He looks like he's going to try and carve out that number 1 role in Green Bay. He looked really, really good. I'm targeting guys like Khalil Herbert over him.
Over Hollins, correct?
Yeah, over Hollins. I'm targeting guys like.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually had no idea who you were talking about when you were asking me what to do with this guy. Like once I looked him up, I've never seen that face.
Yeah, man. He just started playing good recently. Obviously, I think a career high in catches, yards. He's had a touchdown before, but he honestly looked good too. He's kind of slow, but it worked.
29.
So I don't know, man.
Another guy I'm targeting over Matt Collins is KJ Osborne.
Love me some KJ.
He looks better than Thielen, if you ask me. 75% snap percentage, 8 targets, 5 receptions, 73 yards and a tutter. That's a really good stat line. What's it called? If he's like a slot guy. Kirk Cousins isn't like that. He's gonna want to target this guy. I ended up picking him up last year in I think like 2 of my leagues and starting him in a couple games, and he like consistently gave me like 12 to 15 points like every game. Yeah, like at the end, if you go back to 2021, we got week 13, he's got 14, week 14, 17. Chicago, he dropped 5, but then, he finished the season out with 17, 14, and 9. I think he's a super talented wide receiver. And Kirk Cousins, if teams are going to keep triple covering Justin Jefferson, is going to be enough to eat. I think Adam Thielen and KJ Osborne can coexist. I think it's like a wait and see. I think you could pick them up, maybe drop 5% of your fab, like 50. Yep. if you're using $1,000, spend $51, pick them up, put them on your, keep them on your bench, and look to see. Because if Adam Thielen gets hurt, or God forbid Justin Jefferson gets hurt, KJ Osborne can be a solid wide receiver 2 week in, week out. That's what I believe.
He's going to be way more expensive than he's going to be right at this moment.
Right. Yeah. Right now, this is the time to buy him for sure. Another guy. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people to look at on the waiver wires. Isaiah McKenzie played a pretty good game.
Yeah, if he's out there, I think he shouldn't be. But if he is, I think you definitely should get him specifically.
I'm not.
I would target probably McKenzie over Osborne. But they're right there. They're neck and neck. I think this is also for people who are like in deep sleeper leagues. A player that personally, I'm gonna give out maybe a little bit too much information here. Alec Pierce. I know probably nobody's gonna take him now, but just looks very good. Week 1, he did drop 2 touchdowns. I've gotten into arguments with people. He's a rookie receiver out of Cincinnati. If you don't know who he is, he's like 6'3", ran like a 4.4 flat at the combine. He is just an athletic freak who possesses good hands and downfield ability. Got 5 targets this game, 3 catches, 61 yards. Paris Campbell looks bad, which is my main reason for this is Paris Campbell is looking very, very bad so far. So I do like me some Alec Pierce in deeper leagues. Definitely like his style of play. Honestly, he's just open, gets open, makes contested catches. I feel like there's nobody aside from Pittman in this offense in terms of pass catching. So, having a second option in an offense, which in theory is supposed to put up points, isn't looking too bad. And definitely if Zay Jones, as you guys can see, our league, we have a lot of talented receivers up there still. Greg Dortch, gotta love you some Dortch.
We don't have enough bench. Jones. We don't have enough bench spots on our league. I was just thinking about that. Hey, I'm like looking at my team, and there's like nobody I can drop. It's like here's I think we can end on this guy at least for waiver wire pickups. This is if you are in super deep leagues, or if you want just like a crazy pickup that people are gonna like put question marks on, like what is this guy doing? But you'll get him for free 100%. If you have the roster spot available, put in a claim for Odell Beckham Jr. I think that guy's going to get signed back to the Giants. He's going to go back home to where he started. And if he does, I think that he could be a legitimate threat. He could be a startable receiver on your team. There are no receiving options on that team. None. They're only with Sterling Shepard, and he's done for the season. So
that, my friends, is a saucy take.
That's a saucy. If that's a saucy
that's
take,
as saucy as the take is going to get right there, man. I like it. No, I'm
here's the thing is if he gets signed to the Giants, I think that people are going to be spending 10, 15% of their fab on him.
Easily.
And so if you can get him for free, if you have the roster spot, snag him. You know, I was looking. I literally went to go put a claim on him. I looked at my team and I said, I can't drop any of these guys. It's too risky. But
I would have definitely laughed at you in the chat if you would. I don't know, man. I don't know how his ACL is looking. I think he tore it in the Super Bowl. So it's been what, about to be 8 months, 7 months.
Yeah, it might still be a little early for that ACL window. But Lewis, let me ask you, what has a higher chance of happening, Odell or Malik Willis?
Honestly, man, OBJ. I don't know, man. I don't think Malik is not it for this year.
Okay, so
Tannehill. I actually picked Tannehill up. I saw people drop him. I don't have a good second quarterback, so I picked him up, and I'm very, very proud of picking him up. They had a shitty start to the season, incorporating all the new pieces. Their coach is very stubborn, using Derrick Henry, running him into a brick wall 27 times a game. Like, they need to pass the ball every now and then, and they finally did.
So with that said, you said you'd be laughing at Hunter if he added Odell to his roster, but me, I have Malik Willis on my roster. So,
dude, I laughed at you in the draft. I've been laughing the whole way. You're 0-3, and you're rostering a backup quarterback who, even if he was to start, you would not start over your quarterbacks, man. What are you doing?
Oh, I would over Stafford and Matt Ryan and Daniel Jones. Yeah,
that's a rough quarterback room. Holy God. That is rough.
When you have a rough QB room like that, you know, you gotta make decisions and dart throws, you know. So
I don't think anybody will look at you twice if you drop that, man.
I'll trade you a quarterback. You want one? I got Jared Goff or Marcus Mariota. Take your pick.
Oh, better than Malik Willis.
Tempting.
I think I do want to talk about something here. Moving on from the waiver wires, I think I want to focus personally on my matchup this week in the High for Quality League. I matched up against El Carbo, and I think
without week 3.
Okay. Yes, week 3. I think that without a doubt, he has the best roster. We got Joe Burr, Jonathan Taylor, CMC, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, Darren Waller, Tua. That's a crazy roster, and I love
how he skipped over Lockett.
Yeah, whatever.
And Dawson Knox.
Dawson Knox. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I made a trade with him last week, as I spoke about. I gave him CMC for David Montgomery, AJ Brown, and Damian Harris. And let me tell you, I blew him out of the water this week. I had if we go look at the, what's it called? The
weekly awards?
Yeah, weekly awards. I won. I got the biggest blowout award.
Nice.
I beat him by a margin of 29%, 40 points. And let me tell you, that's my Super Bowl.
Yeah, how did it feel? I was about to ask, because Eli's team is looking spicy so far. But I do want to say, man, I know it's my brother Eli. We have the same hair color, you know. We got to stick together out here. We're one and the same, man. Got love for my boy, but have you seen who leads the league in points scored so far? It's your boy, baby.
Lamar?
Oh no, man! It's me. It's my team.
Oh,
my team's
I thought you were
spicy.
talking about like fantasy.
Oh no! I'm talking about just points scored. I really like my team, and I think this is gonna. I mean, clearly, if you guys look at my roster, it's Lamar, a lot of receivers, and Saquon, like the one RB strat. I never do this strategy. Let me tell you, from this point forward, I am only doing this strategy. I am tired of drafting 2 and 3 running backs in the first 3 rounds, especially after this year.
I agree 100%.
They're so inconsistent. They get hurt. These receivers, look how nice these receivers do me, man. Devontae had a bad game, had 14. Waddle had a bad game, had 15. Hollywood with 28 for your boy, man. He got to put on, bro. I have his jersey in my closet, man. You know, he got to show out for your boy. 17 targets. 17 targets. That's the most targets in any game this season, tied with Devontae Adams week 1. Started Thielen, did me good. I have Olave on my bench, guys, and Mike Evans. Like, my receiving room is glorious. Hunter Renfrow is on my IR spot, looking mighty saucy. Just, you know, a couple of tweaks here and there. My quarterback's kind of doo-doo outside of Lamar Jackson, but hey, I got QB1, so it's, you know, it's pretty chilling.
Lewis, let's let's talk.
I'm talking. Let's go.
Let's do some trade talks right here live on the podcast right now.
Go for it.
Breece Hall. What do you think about him?
Okay.
What do you think about him? 11 targets for a running back.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Senor Breece Hall. If I had him in Dynasty, I would be thrilled.
Okay. What do you think about Breece Hall and
Uh-oh. It's about to get spicy.
Lazard for Waddle?
No.
You need the running back. You're the one talking about it.
I do need the running back. I don't need him that bad to diminish my receiver room with Waddle specifically. I know that's what it says. I'm not high on Lazard, and I don't think Breece Hall would be a confirmed start over Dylan, Etienne, or J.K. Dobbins.
I think that he is a confirmed start over all three of those running backs, for sure.
Who are your running backs? Did you start him this week?
I did. Yeah, I did. My running backs are Javonte Williams, David Montgomery, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Damian Harris, Raheem Mostert.
Hunter, would you do this trade? Breece Hall and Amari Cooper for Jalen Waddle? And we got Lewis smiling over there.
Lewis was talking so much shit off cam a couple weeks ago about Amari Cooper. I don't want anything to do with Amari Cooper.
I don't.
You don't.
So you wouldn't do this?
Myself. No, not for myself. I would think about. I like this one obviously better than the other one. I don't want anything to do with Amari Cooper, but I was wrong. He looks just as good as ever. Brissett is decent over there, decent enough to give him an Njoku value. I don't know. I definitely do like. I personally, if I was you, hey, now we're chill, bro. No. He's not gonna give him.
You better swap Waddle to Devontae Adams.
Oh.
That's an even trade if I've ever seen one. Wow.
Oh, we have struck a little string in Lewis's heart right now.
Plenty of strings.
We know
My heart is tingling right now.
We got the Ravens, Mark Andrews. Yeah, I wouldn't do it for Waddle.
Trade? Would you do this trade?
Gerald Everett and Devontae Adams for Mark Andrews. What would my team look like? Gerald Everett. Team would look like AJ Brown, Michael Pittman, Devontae Adams, Gerald Everett, Amari Cooper, or Breece Hall at my flex. I would have so much depth. I wouldn't know what to do with it. I would have to start making moves. I would do it. Yeah, right now if you wanted to.
Oh my God.
I'd do it right now if you wanted to.
You can afford it, Lewis. I will say that. You have the receivers. And this would get you the Lamar Andrews stack.
I want
just
bad.
Imagine how Sundays would be watching your boys play.
I'm okay with doing this trade right now. I'm also okay waiting a week. It's up to you.
Now,
so I do want to say a thing or two, guys, because I was having this discussion with a couple of friends today. I want to get your take on something really quick about receivers in general. I have a take. I think when people say receivers have so and so has bad hands, they use that as a knock, and it's rightfully so. In my opinion, I think you want receivers who you're like, he has bad hands. Why? Because you're throwing him the ball enough for you to see his hands work. I actually have give me just a second here. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. I have a graph of the receivers last year who led the league in drops. And you tell me out of these top 10 receivers who you would not want on your team. So receivers last year who led the league in drops. Number 1, Jamar Chase. Number 2, Deebo Samuel. Number 3, DJ Moore. I mean, that's a takey one.
There's
but
number
still.
1.
I'm sorry?
Said I don't want him, so there's one.
There's one. Yeah, I mean, still, that was last year. Mooney. He's been
we don't talk about the Bears on this podcast.
No, the Bears is dead. Cooper Kupp, CeeDee Lamb, Keenan Allen, Jalen Waddle, Hollywood, AJ Brown, Jay Jettas, Tyreek Hill. I want just about almost all those receivers. If you were to tell me there's 2 out of 11 receivers there, personally, guys, like, stop worrying about if a receiver doesn't have, like, you want the receiver who gets targets. Fuck their hands. Who cares? Yeah, he's going to drop a pass every now and then. He's going to get you upset, but he's getting targeted enough to, drop those passes.
All right, Lewis. I changed my mind. I'll do it right now. I just realized that I have Derek Carr in this league. I need the stack.
You need this stack.
You get the stack. I get the stack. Everyone goes home happy.
I think we'd be doing the people listening and watching. We're an hour in now. Let's make it worth their time and actually do a live trade on the pod.
So, Joseph, I'm curious. I want to hear your side for both of us. Obviously, you spoke on my side. I can't afford the trade. My receiving room is deep enough to make this acquisition.
Regarding Hunter's side?
Regarding in general, like, how are you feeling about this trade? I mean, you're the one who orchestrated. You pulling the strings, low key, motherfucker.
Yeah, I just plugged it in. I think this benefits you guys equally. Like, I don't see a clear winner, and when you don't see a clear winner in a trade, that is as even as it gets. And the fact that you guys are both getting your stacks, man.
I just said the trade, and I threw in a little something extra.
Ooh.
I would definitely take a look. Now, the reason I'm contemplating this trade is because I have my tight ends involved in another trade that's being processed. So I'm just curious what you guys believe in that trade, and just in general. It is a trade for Garrett Wilson, and I would have to look at Kevin's team. I forgot.
I don't see any trade being processed right now, sir.
No. This hasn't been processed. This was offered, and I've been thinking about this.
Is there a minimum amount of fab I have to add to a trade?
I think it's $1, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna throw in $1 of fab. It's done.
It's because it's not letting me. I'm trying to click send here, and it's not going through here. I'll spoil a surprise. I'm trying to add $6.9, $69, $6.90 of fab.
But you can do points. I think
that's what I said. That's what I was typed it out. I was like, wait, I can do this.
Maybe that's why it's not going through.
But you know what?
Yeah, you can't do fractional.
I'll just go 69. $69 worth of fab.
Wow.
Just a little bit of spice, get you going a little bit.
You know what, guys? I think this is gonna be historic right here, because if he sends that offer, it's getting accepted right now.
It's sent. Offer is sent.
I wanna personally talk about selling high, talk about buying low. I think
we did both of that right there. I think I bought low on Tay.
And I think I just bought Mark Andrews for the price.
Yeah, I think Mark Andrews is the price. Oh, I gotta cut someone. Someone's getting cut. Oh, all right. How about we get a little? Let's get a little.
Who you cutting off the team, Swift?
Shit. Look at my roster. Pull my roster up. Who we cutting?
I told you to cut Robert Woods, and he did. He ended up doing these. Oh my.
Mariota.
Juju.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
Mariota or Goff? I have both of those guys.
I'd keep Goff, Mariota.
Oh yeah, probably Mariota.
Keep in mind that.
Who does Mariota play this week?
The Seahawks? No, he just played the Seahawks.
I believe the Falcons play.
I could just click on him. He plays the Browns at home.
No Myles Garrett.
Gerald Everett.
He already dropped Mariota, so.
Have you processed the trade yet?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's processed.
I have to refresh my thing here. I'm about to say I got scammed.
I don't know. I think I probably dropped. Jared Goff plays Detroit. I think Detroit ends up. I don't know. I agree with that. Definitely agree with the sentiment. We have live reactions already in the chat. People are responding. Solid.
And Gator.
Things went down, man. I'm gonna go ahead and and sleep on it. Done live on the stream. I'm definitely gonna sleep on this. I'm gonna feel proud about this personally. I've been my tight end room is kind of,
I think Mark Andrews will finish as the tight end 1 on the year, but I think that in the past 2 weeks, I think I've gone from having the worst receiving room to having the best.
You have,
which I think is a feat
to be accomplished. And I will say, take good care of my boy Gerald Everett, man. He's the guy I pounded the table for. And what do you know? He's a nice little sweetener in this deal for Mark Andrews.
I think one last thing before we close out the pod. I think we gotta look at what the teams look like now. What both of our teams look like now. We can start with Lewis.
I think you got to go to week 4, and it's gonna pull it up. Yes, sir. So my team right now, I'm pretty sure it's looking like Lamar, Saquon at the solidified starters is going to be Lamar, Saquon at RB1. RB2 is going to be a turntable between Dylan, Etienne, and Mr. JK himself. then my receivers, I still feel very good about. I got Waddle, I got Marquise, I got Mike Evans, I got Thielen on my bench. I have, if I'm not mistaken, I still have Chris Olave, Hunter Renfrow. So I still got a piece of that offense over there, which I'm personally a fan of. Young Hunter Renfrow, trying to trade for him in a couple leagues.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
bullshit.
definitely still do like my my receivers. I actually am trying to trade for Hunter. My receivers are so down bad.
I just remember like looking back on that trade when I was trying to get Waddle off your team before he exploded against the Ravens, and I offered you like a Renfro, and you were like, I don't like Renfro.
I don't like Renfro enough for Waddle. You know what I'm saying?
How fast they switch up. I think let's take a look here at my team now. Right now with Dak Prescott being out, the starter is Jared Goff, but Dak Prescott comes back. We have Dak Prescott will be our quarterback. And then we're looking at I went from having a really strong running back room to now having a pretty weak running back room.
But with today's day and age of football, that is probably what you would prefer. And I was thinking about this, Hunter. I understand that you're like, I love Javonte Williams and Breece Hall as your second running back. You know, it does look a little weak, but man, these receivers, we are looking at Devontae Adams, AJ Brown, and Michael Pittman.
And don't forget, I got Amari Cooper in my flex. I got Allen Lazard, and I got Juju on my bench.
I think if I'm you, I'm texting people right now for Juju and Allen Lazard.
Second this podcast is over, I'm gonna try and put together a huge package. You know, whether it's gonna be centered around Juju, and David Montgomery, or you know, like Lazard and Breece Hall, and I'm gonna try and flip for a big boy running back.
I don't know if you're going to be able to trade a hurt running back in David Montgomery, you know, but
maybe it's a wait and see. Maybe it's a wait and see.
I think maybe in a week or two. Oh, Kamara. I don't know.
Oof. Buy low. You were going to give me Saquon? Remember when we were talking about that whole 1-for-1 Saquon for Kamara? Remember that?
I said I would think about it, man, but I just got to see it through. I had to see it through with Saquon. I took him for a reason. I think everybody clowned me for taking Saquon. Everybody was like, "Oh, that's way too high." I always say, bro, if you're not first, guys, you are last in fantasy. There is no second place. So take your risk. Take your chances on players with upside. Don't be, sprinkle in a couple players with floor because you always want to have them. But, wonder how they decided on the fab amount. 69 is just the perfect number. I'm going to be very honest with you guys.
Definitely the perfect amount for sure. I think the big storyline, regardless, I think the big storyline so far in this league, and it's not just me tooting my own horn, I think it's me going from having one wide receiver, high-end wide receiver 2, fringe wide receiver 1, to now having two solid 100% wide receiver 1s in Devontae Adams and AJ Brown, and a guy who's looking great in Michael Pittman Jr. And then I got these guys on my bench, Amari Cooper, Juju, and Allen Lazard. I mean,
this is going to sound crazy. I'm actually thinking about this now. If I'm you, I'm keeping Juju and Lazard, and I'm flipping Cooper. I think he has the most value, and I think you'll solve your RB problem immediately.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, that could be true. So you're thinking a pairing of Cooper and Breece Hall.
Yep. I'll give you Aaron Jones for those two.
Whoa! All right, guys, listeners at home. I think we gotta take a look at this here.
We might have to edit some of the things we're doing in the middle out because we need to include this everywhere.
What does my team look like if I do this trade? My team looks like Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, AJ Brown, Michael Pittman, Gerald Everett, either Juju, Lazard, or David Montgomery at my flex spot, Derek Carr. Let's look at the trade analyzer here. It's a big gain for me. Can we look at the detailed analysis there? Shout out to Fantasy Pros.
Fantasy Pros, yes sir.
Not sponsored.
Maybe one day.
Hopefully one day we'll pray. I mean, holy shit. Give me a second here.
And if you don't mind me jumping in on this trade, maybe we can work out a 3-team trade because I'm interested in DJ Moore.
Okay.
I want DJ.
This is a big boy trade, We're not talking about small pieces right now, right?
Come on, man.
Just tell me what you're offering. I'll tell you yes or no right now.
I mean, it doesn't have to be with you. Maybe I get DJ Moore and he gets whatever piece from my team. It doesn't have to be with you because I don't think you want Thielen or obviously, maybe he can't give him Hunter Renfrow, so it would be for you.
I hate to
And
do
I'll
this to you,
include the
Hunter.
69 fab.
I hate to do this to you, bro, but I'm just
What?
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
That's
trolling.
okay. I didn't want to do it anyways. I looked
Okay.
at Aaron Jones' stats and it didn't pop out at me. I was
Yeah.
gonna tell you let's wait a week, see what
Yeah.
happens.
I unfortunately can't afford to do this trade because not only is Dalvin Cook hurt, but Swift is hurt. I am left with Aaron Jones, so this isn't even possible for me. Unfortunately, probably gonna have to start Chase Edmonds next week. I really, really, really. 1 second. I really want Madison, and I will pay whatever it takes to get Madison. Shout out Eli.
Hey, Swift. We'll leave the viewers with this: Amari Cooper, Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift. He's gonna be out. He's gonna be out for 3 to 4 weeks. You get players that you can start now.
You're 0-3, man. It's
I need
tilting
a win.
season.
I need a win.
Is it?
Listen, I'm not saying let's do this now, but I'll leave you with that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We'll leave that with you. How about we pull it? Let's just get a look at it on Fantasy Pros.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to take into account the fact that DeAndre Swift is going to miss the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Tomorrow. It gets updated
Yeah, he's
tomorrow.
still RB9. So
yeah, I think he falls down to like RB15, RB16 around that area. What's it looking like?
2%.
2%. Yeah, I think if you take into account that probably like the 6 or 7 running back spots that he's going to fall, it ends up being a pretty even trade.
It gets updated tomorrow. I check it. It gets updated every single Wednesday or Tuesday, like night. I think it is past Tuesday night. But regardless, it should be getting updated very, very soon here.
All right. Well, I think that was a successful episode.
Successful episode. And what better way to finish off success than just really quick recapping some of our prize picks smacks of the week, baby.
Yup.
I'm just going to talk about them here. I had a for people who gamble and bet, you put units down. So like the amount of money doesn't really matter. It's really the percentage of your budget. Like how much are you putting down? I believe a 30% bet on my budget on Ryan Tannehill and Chris Olave on prize picks.
Wow.
I took Tannehill over 200.5 yards. I think that was a freaking gimme. He had 195 yards at halftime. And I had Olave over 38.5 receiving yards, and he had that in one play. And I told Joseph he's going to get more than 38 yards in one play, and he got 40-something. I love Chris Olave. I love Ryan Tannehill at 200.5 passing yards. And it was just a absolute smash for your boy. And I missed my parlay with the Giants, sadly, blowing my ticket. But, it was only $1 bet because, I just throw some shit together sometimes. What about you guys?
I got 2 wins this weekend on prize picks. We'll start with the little baby one. It was a little Monday night sprinkle. Half a unit. I did Noah Brown over receiving yards, 37.5, smashed. I did Saquon over rushing plus receiving yards. That smashed by about 10, 11 yards. And then I did Tony Pollard over rush receiving yards. 5, that was a, what's it called? 5 to win 25, which is pretty good. And then the big boy hit of the week, which Swift, when I sent it to him before the game started, he said, I don't know why you would do that. I never touch these guys. And these guys are quarterbacks. I did a 4-pick, $10 power play, $10 to win 100. Mitch Trubisky over 191.5. Joe Flacco over 234.5. Marcus Mariota over 190.5. And Joe Burrow over 263.5. All of those hit pretty comfortably by about 15 to 20 yards. So that was $10 to win 100. And, stay on the lookout for some of our picks. I actually got one cooked up right now. I'll give you a little hint. It's again, I'm going back to the quarterbacks. $10 to win 100, 4 picks. Josh Allen over 285.5 against a horrific Baltimore secondary. I think that is a smash. I think that line should be set at like 300 yards. I got Jacoby Brissett over 200.5 against Atlanta. What's it called? Geno Smith did that. And I think that Jacoby Brissett could definitely get that done. I got Russell Wilson over 225.5 against Las Vegas, who have the second worst secondary in the NFL behind the Ravens.
I don't think we're the worst, but yeah, continue. We're definitely bad.
Okay.
Cardinals are up there.
Cardinals are up there, and then I got this is this is a little risk take here, but I like it. Justin Herbert against Houston, 270.5 over.
Oof.
Justin Herbert last week with broken ribs against, I think people would say a good Jacksonville defense. He still
When was the
threw
last time we
for
said that, right?
yeah,
Jacksonville.
he still threw for 297 with broken ribs against a good Jacksonville defense. He's now going into playing against a Houston defense, who what's it called?
Or Houston.
Russell. Yeah, it's Houston. Come on.
Next. Yeah.
I think Justin Herbert hits that comfortably. I think that I think the big risk in here is probably Jacoby Brissett. I like it. Jacoby Brissett hit it against the Steelers, he hit the over 200 against the Steelers, who I think have a good pass defense, a much better pass defense than the Falcons. I think that they're going to start looking to get these receivers involved more. David Njoku had a breakout game. Amari Cooper had another great game. Donovan Peoples-Jones has some electric speed, some big explosive play power, and I think Jacoby Brissett will hit that, but I do acknowledge that it is a risk because of how run dependent that team is. So, I'm riding with that. I wouldn't go more than a unit on it. It's just a little sprinkle. If you want, keep your eye out on the lines. See if the lines move up or down. Keep an eye out on it. I like to get my quarterbacks in early. I feel like those lines don't really end up moving too much. Last week, a great example, Swift was telling me that people were smashing the under on Mitch Trubisky's receiving or passing yards. His line started at like what, 200?
200.5.
200.5. It ended up moving down to what?
185.
185. So definitely you want to keep an eye on that stuff. I saw his line move down to 190. I said, Mitch Trubisky is a quarterback in the NFL that's not named Justin Fields. Anybody can hit this.
That's as much Bears talk as you're going to get.
There you go. So if you guys got anything else.
I got one last little sprinkle, man. Shout out Prize Pick. Taco Tuesdays, baby. Get your bets in on Tuesdays. Pair them with your favorite Sunday bet. You got up to $25 per Taco Tuesday pick. And today's Taco Tuesday, the one that I bet on was Joe Burr. They gave him a nice little taco. They brought his passing yards down to 240.5. I think you got to take that personally. It's 246 yards for Justin Herbert. Like I'll take that. I think he's hit that every single time this year. And I sprinkled that in there with a little bit of Tyreek, a little bit of cheetah action. You got the Bengals, and you got to get the cheetah in there too. You know what I'm saying? Over 75.5 receiving yards. I think he's getting that on 2 plays. He was talking shit about Eli Apple. He said he's going to find out.
He's cooking Eli Apple. It's
about to get serious. One thing you know about people when they come down to Florida, man, if they pick up that swag, that not only with the Dolphins but with the Heat too, when they pick up that that South Florida swag, shit gets serious down here. Look at Jimmy Butler, man.
Jimmy Buckets.
Gotta end the episode on Jimmy Buckets, man. Stay tuned, guys. This was a longer episode, but hey, man, we were just talking facts. Y'all got absolute gold mines here. Waiver pickups, sell highs, buy lows. You saw a live trade. How many times are you going to be able to see? Like, I wasn't even sure that trade was going to happen.
That was not a part. That was not a part of the agenda, by the way.
It was not. We had talked about maybe talking about like some trades, like maybe bringing up like, oh, I think I'm going to send this guy this offer, but little did I know that it was going to go through between two members on here, and I think that we both are leaving this trade happy, which rarely happens.
100%. Typically somebody's getting fleeced, especially when those two big names are getting moved. Guys of Andrews and Adams. But guys, per usual, man, as you guys can see, everybody up here is saucy. So you guys gotta stay saucy, my friends.